brake signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before continuing. Okay, any station that wishes to participate in tonight's Wednesday evening Slow Scan TV Net, please come now.
Oh, I don't think anybody wants to be first, but I will. N6BGQ.
And N6YG.
Kilo Mike 6 Delta 6 go. Alpha India 6 Delta go.
I thought about ways to encourage or reward the early check-ins and punish like the late ones, but I haven't come up with that yet. So anyway, I have Bob in northmost Roseville. He is N6BGQ. I got George in Lincoln, N6YG. And then the third check-in, I don't know if that was Ken in Woodland or Jim in Grass Valley, so come back, please.
Kilo Mike 6 Delta Victor Tango, or Jim.
All right, cool. That's what I had at first, but I wanted to be sure. So I hope that you got some of your PL and offset issues corrected. It sounds like you do. You're a little scratchy, but we'll see what happens. All right, so I got Bob, George, and Jim. Anybody else?
Yeah, this is Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta Carols. Hit your sights.
All right, I got Joel, one of our SSTV stalwarts, and I think I heard Carol doing an official check-in. I know she's there.
Yep, KP4MD here.
All right, it's official. Good to have you, Carol. All right, anybody else? We're still missing a couple of our stalwarts. Stand by. I got my radio's doing some weird stuff. I'm going to turn it off and on and restart MMS TV. If you can hear me, bear with me. All right, it wouldn't give me my named program channels and show my my offset and my transmit frequency, but I turned it off and then just did some other things and it stabilized. So anyway, there's our first snafu of the night seems to be corrected. So we're going to go. We'll call. I thought I heard somebody else, but we'll give another call after this first picture. So this first picture, we're going to reward, quote unquote, Bob in northmost Roseville with first go. He's N6PGQ, and I'm going to bet that he's ready for us.
Okay, well, if everything works on the computer system and the radio, this should be PD120, N6BGQ.
right, excellent. I got that one good. If you remember from last week, I'm back on board with you guys and gal again. I was getting nothing but a blizzard last week, but I think my mic settings were too low, and I also think anything that says enhancement on it when it's checked, it seems to give me trouble. But anyway, I digress. I got that one good. Dying to know what the story is behind this subject matter. It might be one of those conversation starters. But let's go to George in Lincoln, N6YG. He'll get first comment. Go ahead, George.
All right. Well, let me turn off my monitor. It came over good. I had turned off the noise blanker on the radio. I forgot I had it on. And the noise blanker significantly interferes with the reception of images. It makes them kind of blurry. It gives it squiggly lines and artifacts. But after I turned it off, it looks real good. Not a whole lot of pixel pops. Very strong signal into the repeater. And not sure what I'm looking at. Looks like mushrooms growing someplace. So I'm going to go ahead and send it back to net, N6YG.
All right, very good. On this 991A, noise blanker isn't active on VHF, UHF. Let's go to Jim in Grass Valley. He's back with us, and see what he's got to say about this picture. Jim is KM6 DVT. Go ahead, Jim.
A bunch of little mushrooms amidst the UFO flying saucers have landed.
All right, I get most of your transmission. It's very scratchy and cuts in and out, but we'll see how it does on a image transmission. But I did get your broadcast there. So there's only a few of us so far. Let's go to Joel, AI6DG, for a comment.
Yeah, we're looking down at the ground. We've got some flat-topped round mushrooms of some kind, not a kind I've seen before. And it's not really grass. I don't know if they're weeds or dandelions or what. There might be some regular grass in the background, but it's kind of patchy with leaves coming out from a center, kind of like a star pattern, and a bunch of spots in the foreground interspaced with the mushrooms. There's a story. Very very strong signal, just a few pops, and the repeater IDing down at the bottom. AI6DG back to net.
Comment.
Go ahead, George.
Hey, Joel, what did you do different this week? Your audio's real strong. Nice clear signal tonight.
Well, I'm not on the hand mic. I'm on the Blue Yeti, and I'm also on a different antenna than this is only the second time I've used this antenna on this net. I put it in a couple of weeks ago. It's a Comet CX333. When I took the old antenna down, I found some loose parts, so that explains why it wasn't working too well. So my RF signal should be a bit stronger into the repeater.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a definite improvement. All right, back to net, N6YG.
Yeah, truer words there. I'm dying to see what his image transmission is going to look like. Let's finish this round off with Carol, see what she's got to say about these shrooms.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. That picture is very clear. Bunch of mushrooms in there. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and looks like it's a bunch of weeds there, and I can't really tell if there are any pixel pops. There probably are a few, but it's hard to tell among all of the just the complexity of the picture. And then down at the bottom, I think it's like about 80-90% of the way down, you have one blip there from the repeater ID. I have nothing else to say. I'm not a connoisseur of mushrooms, sorry, except I like them in spaghetti sauce. Back to you, KP from D.
All right, very good. Yes, as was said, it is an excellent picture. But like Joel said, I too flashed on the greenery, as it were. I don't know what it is. Is it some kind of like bionic form of crabgrass? I don't know, but there's got to be some kind of story behind this. So let's go to Bob, N6PGQ, and have him tell us about his photo. Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, well, I was going to say something about making the green bean casserole with French fried onions and cream of mushroom soup and not having any soup but using the mushrooms in the backyard. But that isn't something I'm going to do. Well, as George knows, everything in the country turns into weeds. And this is just a little bit south of my backyard grass. And this is the stuff that comes up. And it's been damp, and so these little mushrooms tend to congregate until I run them over with a lawnmower. So that's my backyard and a bunch of mushrooms, and there they are, N6PGQ.
All right, very good. I too get those, or similar anyway, in my lawn sometimes, but I haven't got any yet this year. When all the leaves are all over the place, they tend to feast on those. So, all right, anyway, thank you again. Once again, great picture. Let's go to Lincoln. That's George, N6YG, and see what he has for us tonight. Go ahead, George.
All right. Well, I have a picture to send down. I was going to say, we don't get a lot of mushrooms out here anymore. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if it's the chickens. We've got a herd of chickens out here. I was just looking at them today outside the window, and they were all roaming around after the rain, just having a good time. So, eating all the grubs and the bugs and whatever it is that they eat out there to make those eggs taste so good. I'm going to drop this and send my image. This can be Martin 1. I'm going to be a little different tonight. N6YG.
right. I here am 2 for 2 on great image reception. So this one here, the story is maybe not so much the picture itself, but why George wanted to show it to us. So I'm sure he'll have something to tell about it, but maybe you guys and gal have something to say about it. We're going to find out because we're going to go to the top to Bob, N6PGQ. He gets first comment. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, obviously it's a commercial PL259 to a USB-C adapter. I need USB-C adapters since the computer I'm getting is all USB-C instead of USB-A or anything like that. But I don't know. There it is. I don't know if you'd use it with test equipment or what. Picture-wise, I think this is the best picture George has ever sent. There's about, let's see, maybe 8 pixel pops in the whole picture, and of course the repeater ID are down near the bottom. But it's a great picture, and I'm going to be interested to know what George uses it for, N6PGQ.
All right, Bob, thank you. Those are precisely like those things are precisely what I'm wondering about. But we're going to go to Jim in Grass Valley, KM6DVT, and see if he's got a comment on it. And tell us how you got the picture up there, too, Jim.
Oh, right. Great pictures. I'm receiving them really great. So it's good. I'm just wondering if that's hooked up to an old laptop or computer or either even maybe an antenna analyzer of some sort. Got me.
Well, those are some good guesses, too. And by the way, that transmission, though a little bit scratchy, no cutouts, not too bad. So very good. So let's go to Joel. I'll bet you Joel's got something to say about it. Go ahead, Joel.
Yeah, I'm presuming it's a joke. I think I've seen this floating around on Facebook or I mean, I suppose it's possible it's real. I mean, some sort of computer setup that's using USB to drive an antenna. I mean, you've done crazier things with Raspberry Pis using the GPIO ports to drive antennas. Yeah, yep, more info. Look forward to hearing. AI6TG, back to net.
Hey, thanks, Joel. I knew I could get something from you. I didn't think of the joke angle. Let's go to, very good. Let's go to Carol and see what she has to say. Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, okay. My take on it was it's a high-tech RF to digital converter, and it's got to be really high-tech to fit in that little thing there. Back over to you, KP for MD.
Another good angle. This is Bill, K6KRQ, Wednesday Slow Scan TV Net. We're going to go to George and have him tell us about his picture. Is it a gag or what? Go ahead, George.
Well, apparently there's going to be a firmware update to some of the Chinese HTs from Bofang and some of the other manufacturers that allow you to use a USB-C port rather than the antenna port on the radio to save wear and tear on the SMA connector. So if you're at home or something like that and you want to use your HT, you can just plug this into the USB-C port, and you'll be able to use an external antenna. So at least that's the story I posted with this picture on various Facebook groups and other sites trolling people to see how many people would buy it. I also did what Carol stated. I played it off as an SDR receiver built into the PL259. So you just plug it into your computer and you can have an SDR. Just curious how many people would actually buy it, and sadly enough, quite a few. Yeah, by the way, it's an AI-generated image.
heard a comment there. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm K6YLA. Just was trying to get up with the picture and everything. I just set up my shack again and wired everything up. So later I'll be checking to see if I can get anything on HF. But right now I'm in sync with you with the radio and not necessarily the YouTube on my phone. But I do see the picture, and that is kind of funny. But I have 259 to whatever, I guess it's the reverse SMA on my Bofang, and I carry that around. But the wire is a little bit longer than that. Okay, back to you, KA6YLA.
All right, good to have you, Kayla. Stand by. I'm going to come back to you in a minute. I got to ask George something. So, George, is it like Joel said, a gag?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I originally posted this on Reddit in one of the amateur radio groups out there, and it went crazy. The mods finally deleted it.
That's pretty funny, too. You know what? Somebody like me, relatively inexperienced with this field, to me it looked like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. I wonder what kind of use I could get out of that. So I would have taken hook, line, and sinker, too. So anyway, thanks for that. Some humor in the Slow Scan TV net. So this is Bill, K6KRQ. Kayla, let me ask you, are you able to receive images over your radio and maybe transmit, or are you just YouTubing it?
I'm YouTubing it on the phone so I can see the pictures, but that's out of sync with the actual frequency we're speaking on. So I turned the volume of the YouTube picture on the radio, on the phone down, so I could hear the radio. So, yeah, I'm not getting both at once at this point.
Okay, well, we'll invite you to comment anyway on the rest of the pictures. So from here on in, I don't know if you guys I've never asked if you prefer the format where I just ask two people and then just ask for any other comments. That might make it more fluid. So we'll do that right now, or going forward. This is Bill, K6KRQ. I'm going to take a second here to see if there's anybody else like Kayla that has come along and wants to check in. If so, come now. All right, no takers that time. Okay, let's, I got two videos. Okay, let's go to Grass Valley. Let's go to Jim, KM6DVT. I'm betting he got his gear squared away. And if he can get us, we should be able to get him image-wise. So if you're ready, Jim, go ahead and send.
Well, here it goes. Might be a little scratchy, but
right. I think we can get some comments out of that. I'm going to go like from the bottom up this time, so as not to keep putting Bob on the spot. So let's start with, let's put Carol on the spot, KP4MD. Go ahead, Carol, you get first comment.
Okay, thank you very much. It's KP4MD. Very good picture. Yeah, it's got had a little bit of what do you call it, noise just from the RF into the repeater being a little weak from where he is. But as you can see on YouTube, we've got a little bit of snow in the picture. Some pixel pops there, but a nice picture there of a locomotive pulling some cars on a railroad track, and a nice little garden there with some rocks in the foreground and some grass in the distance and some trees. I think that's his model railroad set there. He really likes to get a lot of pictures of those things. I don't know how many different locomotives he has, but I couldn't tell the difference from the distance of this one. Anyway, it's really nice. I like the colors and I like the subject matter. Back over to you, KP4MD.
Thank you, Carol. Ditto here on the subject matter. This is Bill, K6KRQ. Let's go to Joel, AI6DG, and see what he's got to say about it. Go ahead, Joel.
Yeah, I think I like this best of all the backyard train set photos I've seen. I mean, it's a nice little grassy area in the background, nice set of trees. Looks like we got a couple of trees kind of in the foreground. That the train tracks kind of curling around, coming in from the right side of the photo in the background and curling around, and exiting back out the photo on the near field on the right. Nice little steam locomotive, a couple of flatbeds behind that with I'm not sure, a couple of rolls of something, and then something yellow. A box car behind that. Kind of neat looking at the track and how we got some PVC pipe acting like a pillar. Some bricks, some little pieces of wood on the bricks to space it out. I mean, I'm wondering how much effort had to be put in to make the track be level and get everything to go straight. Looks like he's doing some gardening got underneath the trees. I can see some buckets of stuff, or are they bags full of leaves? Because there's obviously a recent photo because there's lots of leaves on the ground and all over the place. How does a train deal with a monster-sized, Godzilla-sized leaf when it comes down onto the track? Back to net, AI6DG.
All right, Joel, thanks. Great observations. So I'm going to see if anybody else has any other comments, and then we're going to go to Jim for explanation. Any other comments? Come now.
Yeah, YG.
Go ahead, George.
And that was actually the perfect mode that he chose to send us. Scotty 1 is very, very, very good with weak signals, and that came over real well considering how strong or how kind of weak his signal was into the repeater. I'm really curious what this locomotive is, what model this is. I don't see. It looks like it's got a coal cart behind it, so I guess it was burning coal. So it's a little newer than the original, the wood burners. But it's the smokestack that confuses me because I'm confused by this. So I'm going to send it to net, and maybe we get an explanation. N6YG.
N6PGQ.
Go ahead, Bob.
Well, I like this picture. The PVC joiner down at the bottom, like what you would use to repair a broken PVC pipe that you'd cut out, I think it's a great use down there. The locomotive is interesting that it doesn't appear to have a tender, that the tender is built onto the locomotive. And usually if this were coal-fired, they wouldn't have a smokestack like that, it would be straight. But it's going to be interesting to find out what era model this is and all the information there. N6PGQ.
Thanks, Bob. Anybody else? All right. We had a picture from Bob, I think a couple of weeks ago of I'm going to call it a movie train, 'cause that's what it is now, that had the counterfeit smokestack on it, for that idea. I wasn't sure if it was the coal ones that were straight or the wood-burning ones, but I guess the big wide spark arrestor one would make sense for the wood burners. So very good. Good observations. I got just an observation and a couple of questions before I go to Jim. First observation, this looks like this might still be a work in progress. And my questions are, I forget the gauge. What gauge is it? And I forget my other question was, is this all one, of all the pictures you've shown us, is it all one line or system going around the yard? Anyway, over to you, Jim, KM6 DVT.
Yeah, you guessed it right. This is a shade wood burner, like the ones that are at roaring camp. And right behind it is a car with rolls of cable on them. And behind that, a little orange one is a searchlight car. And a little, just a box car and a caboose after that. This picture was taken in 2002. So it was actually the first run on this layout, because all that PVC pipe now is all buried and gone, and where that PVC pipe is now, you want to call it not bricks, but not stepping stones, but yeah, like the big bricks, and it's all gone. One of these days I'll have to send you a picture of the whole layout. After everything is done tonight, I'll send you another one.
And what gauge is this? I forget. I thought, for some reason I'm thinking N, but this looks awfully big for N gauge.
Yeah, it's G gauge, garden gauge they call it.
All right, very good. Excellent picture, excellent subject matter. I know I like it.
Oh, and the layout is just one loop, one big loop and one siding.
All right, very good, Jim. Thanks for that. Keep those ones coming. I just heard the identifier. This is probably a good time for Joel, AI6DG, to send a picture, and we'll see how good his signal is tonight, because he does sound better, as George said. So, Joel, if you are ready, go ahead and fire. Tone. you, Joel. Two quick comments before I pass it on. This does look clearer than some of your other ones. It looks real good. I think the pixel pops are just something that the rest of us will get or don't get, depending on the luck of the draw. And it also looks like a continuation of a picture that you sent us previously. So I'm going to be anxious to hear about it. But for commentary first, let's go to Jim, KM6 DVT right now, and tell us how you received it also, Jim. Go ahead.
Excellent. Good. Just the pixel on the top half on MS SSTV. Put on YouTube. It's nice and clear. Looks like, okay, that is the, you want to see transfer case connected to the back of it. Really clear. Good picture.
All right, very good. Let's go to George, N6YG, and comment on picture quality and anything else he's got to say about the subject matter. Go ahead, George.
Oh, for as strong as this signal was, I'm kind of surprised by the number of pixel pops, but it's probably because of the black background. And, yeah, I see an engine, the front end of a car, sitting on the engine, sitting on some work dollies and so forth, and I am not sure if that is a transaxle or a transfer case or what it is. So we'll have to. Definitely looks like that comes out of a manual. It's got a pressure plate on it and clutch and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm curious to know what this comes out of. N6YG.
Those are good observations. The reason I call it continuation because Joel showed us another shot of this project, but we'll get to him in a minute after I just check to see if there's anybody else with any comments before we go to Joel.
Oh, you know, one more comment real quick.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Actually, I was just realized I was looking at that picture on the web. I wasn't even looking at my own reception. So, and on my reception, I apparently I'm receiving a little bit better than Carol is because I've got much fewer pixel pops here. So, anyhow, just wanted to make that note that the pictures actually looks much better than I originally thought. N6YG.
All right, very good. I for one, am interested in how other people are getting it. So, any other comments?
Yeah, I got the picture really, really well. Very few pixel pops in 6PGQ.
All right, very good. I'm glad you jumped in there. Like I said, I kind of like to see how everybody else is getting it and compare to mine. Okay, then let's go to Joel and tell us about this phase of what looks like is a project he's got going on.
So I just went back to history to take a look at what I sent before, and I see that I took a little bit wider photo of the hoist and the car and the engine as it was coming out of the car, all covered in grease with the engine and the transmission or transaxle. That's what this is. On the left you have the three-cylinder engine out of a 1994 Geo Metro after it's come back from the shop to be rebuilt, and it's all nice and clean, and I've started putting parts on it. So that's a new clutch plate. The pressure plate is the disc is new. The pressure plate's the same. I'm reusing it. It's almost brand new. It's only a couple years old. And the right is the transmission or transaxle. Yeah, it's a front-wheel drive, so I guess technically it's the transaxle, and it's really small. You can pick it up. So this is right before I actually mounted the transaxle onto the engine. I just lifted the engine up and turned it around so that it was backed with the car, and then I could just lift the transaxle and position it and push it the shaft onto the engine. Back of the engine. Obviously, very small engine, very small car, very small transaxle. One complication here is that the engine doesn't sit down flat. The bottom of the oil pan is completely beveled, so that's why I've got it sitting on the beige thing is actually a sandbag, and then that's a box containing a fire extinguisher I just happen to have handy that also just happened to be just the right size to keep the engine from falling forward. But still got it in the car now, and still adding parts onto it. I got to do the exhaust and intake manifolds and the wiring harness. I need to clean the wiring harness and lay it in and start plugging things in. And anyway, lots of little steps. Back to Net AI6TG.
Go ahead, Kayla.
I just wanted to comment on how clear that is. Yes, there are some pixel pops, but they're tiny, and I'm looking at this on my phone, which is very small, so I don't have the benefit of being in the living room with the TV, but I'm very impressed. I like this picture better than the one he did. It was further away. It was kind of hard to see what he was doing, but this is very clear and obvious, and great picture. Hey, 6 Wiley.
Thank you, Kayla. Yeah, it rendered well on YouTube also. And Joel, you also answered what was going to be my next question, where you were at in the project. So now I know, or now we know. So thanks for that. And it is remarkably clean now. Okay, let me see where we're at. Okay, we're going to keep going. Next is Carol's turn to send us a picture. Carol's KP4MD, and let's see what Carol has. You may go ahead and send when you are ready, Carol.
Okay, thank you very much, Bill. This is going to be PD 120.
that was doing a repeat again. I got it good. It rendered well on YouTube, but I don't know if it's gonna come back and try to render again on YouTube. I'm watching it now. Maybe not. Good looking picture. You know what? I think I know what this is. I saw some. Yeah, there it goes. I've seen some traffic on it, email and Discord. So I'll comment more about that later. Let's go to the top to Bob, N6PGQ, for first comment on this one. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, there are a few pixel pops in here. You can read everything on there clearly. Calibrate 102200 parts per billion, maybe, and the display says 9998.97. Looks like 8. Step 1 hertz, and I don't know what little device this is, but we'll find out, I'm sure, in 6PGQ.
All right, thank you, Bob. Let's see if we can pick up a comment from George, N6YG. Go ahead, George.
Well, this is a little color screen that's generally used with Arduinos. It's an I2C bus screen. You can tell by the SCL and SDA lines up there, and whatever it is listening to or listening really close to 10 megahertz. I think. I'm assuming that's 9.998.978 megahertz with 1 hertz steps. So the 8 would be the 1 hertz, and it's calibrated to parts per billion. So maybe it's a project like a GPS stabilized disciplined oscillator or a device to do that. So, and interesting enough, Carol sent this because I was going to say the picture on the internet looks fantastic, much better than one I received. I actually got quite a few pixel pops on my received image, and it actually restarted just towards the end. It's almost as though the IDER threw it off and forced my software to restart. So with that, I'm going to send it back to Net, N6YG.
Thanks, George. Yeah, it restarted here too. We've seen this happen before a couple weeks ago. Are there any other comments before I go to Carol?
Yeah, this is Jim. I didn't receive it at all. All I got on the receive was the call sign, KP4MD, and that was it. But on YouTube, came out perfect.
If you look on your history tab on your SSTV, you might see the whole picture there. All right, so anyway, yeah, I think this is like an Arduino project that Carol had been publishing about. You know, I have an Arduino, and I have like a full kit with you know, all the components, resistors, capacitors, what have you, breadboards and all that. So I've thought about checking out what code she wrote, see what I could do with it. I would ask you, though, in your explanation, the thing with parts per billion, I have to confess ignorance to that. Parts per billion always sounds like some liquid or atmospheric volumetric measurement to me. I have no idea what it has to do with radio. So that being said, let's go to Carol and have her tell us about her picture and her project. Go ahead, Carol.
Okay, thank you. This is KP4MD. I expect you know, what I'm thinking is going on here is the way Jim explains it. He got to see just the very top of the picture KP4MD, and then he received nothing else. I have a suspicion what's happening with him is the audio that's coming in over YouTube is keying his transmitter. So that echo that you're getting at the end of my transmission, which is just a repeat, is the audio that's coming in over YouTube, and it's going through his transmitter, getting into the repeater again, because it's not coming. I'm not transmitting this picture, the end of the picture, twice. Okay, that's what I'm guessing is going on there with Jim, because this is not a common problem with anybody else for some reason. Okay, this is the N6NA, which is a project that we did with the River City Arcs back about 4 years ago, where we built these little low-power transmitters using an Arduino Nano microcontroller controlling a SI5351 frequency synthesizer module, and it uses a little rotary encoder, and it's got this little tiny OLED display. So it was originally designed just to operate on 7 megahertz. You could tune a frequency anywhere within the 7 megahertz band and get this little thing to transmit like half a watt. Well, I've been working a lot on the software for this, and this is an enhancement I did to the software. It's a calibration routine. Okay, because when you fire the thing up and you think you're on 7 megahertz, you could be like 1 or 2 kilohertz off, because the reference crystal on that little SI5351, it has a tolerance that could be off frequency. You know, it's the same thing with any rig. You know, it could be not calibrated properly, and you could be off maybe a kilohertz or that much. You know, usually when it comes to the manufacturer, they put it pretty close on. But when you're building something, you don't have the benefit of having a manufacturer, you know, calibrating it for you. So what this does is, with this routine, you just get a receiver tuned to 10 megahertz, listen to WWV, or you could use any other 10 megahertz frequency reference you have that you know is really accurate, you know, right down to the 1 hertz. And what you do with this thing is you push the encoder button in about a second, and then it comes up with this screen. It says calibrate, and it says 0 ppb, parts per billion, and the frequency readout will read 10,000.000. Okay, so what you can do then is you're turning the frequency on the encoder. Let me drop it a moment so I don't time out. So you turn the frequency on the encoder until you get a 0 beat. So it matches the exact frequency coming out of the SI5351 with the WWV standard on 10 megahertz. What you're seeing on the display here is the difference in order to actually get the thing to be exactly on 10 megahertz. And that line that's above that frequency, it says calibrate parts per billion. It's actually calculating what the correction factor is that has to go into the software. So with this, the software that I wrote, once you get it set so you got an exact 0 beat, you just push the button in for a full 2 seconds, and it's going to store that correction factor into non-volatile memory. So it's going to calibrate your dial on this little transmitter so that it's accurate down to 1 hertz, and it works pretty darn nifty. I'm glad to see I was able to get that done. I guess it's kind of similar to some of the I don't know if a lot of commercial rigs are like that. They have an easy way to calibrate it down to 1 hertz. A lot of them you have to open up the rig and tweak some kind of a control inside. But this is awesome. Now this works. It's parts per million or parts per billion. Let me drop it one more time before I go on. Okay, this is just a way of explaining frequency error, frequency accuracy, If you're off on your frequency by 1 part per million, that means you're off 1 hertz in a frequency of 1 megahertz. Okay, so if you have 1 part per million error at 10 megahertz, you could be off 10 hertz. It multiplies that way. That's the way it goes. So parts per billion is you just take the parts per million and you multiply it by 1,000, and that gives you parts per billion. And that's the reason it uses that particular. That's the actual factor that needs to go into the software to get the synthesizer accurately calibrated. And this covers the entire range from 4 kilohertz up to 225 megahertz, and it's got an accuracy of 0.1 parts per million, which is pretty darn good for a cheap little device like this. Of course, that's so you can have it as a VFO or frequency source for other purposes other than using it with the transmitter. It's pretty nifty. Back over to you, KP for MD.
All right, Carol, thanks for that. And I'm able to wrap my head around the parts per billion, parts per million now. I will say, if you don't mind me saying, this homegrown stuff like this looks like mad scientist stuff to me, which is a quality I admire, by the way. All right, once again, thanks for that. That was the end of my list. Since I got my stuff working right again, I have one to send you, and hopefully I'll give George like a heads up because it's getting late. So George, if you've got like the final picture that I tend to ask you for, get ready with it because this is going to be the final net transmission of the night. So if you guys are ready, this is K6KRQ. It's going to be PD120, a true pixel popper tester. Here it comes. All right, this is Bill, K6KRQ. I'm going to open it up just to everybody who wants to comment. I'm sure you know what it is. I'm just kind of concerned on how you guys and gal might have got it. It looks good on YouTube, so anybody would like to comment, go ahead now.
It looks like the names on the wall. The only thing that came out kind of pixely bad was Cole, William Cole. one I saw in Washington, D.C. on the mall.
All right, thank you, Jim. You're dead on there. Any other comments? Again, mostly on how you received it.
Came over perfect over here. One of the best images I think I've received from you, N6YG.
Yeah, I figured it might work out like a test on pixel pops. Anybody else?
Yeah, KP for MD, I can see the reflection there with your two hands holding the camera. Over.
Very good. That is me. I see your cursor on the screen there. Anybody else? All right. Well, yeah, that is the wall in Vietnam, the Vietnam Memorial in Washington D.C. I took this one about 20 years ago, and Jim landed on it. William P. Call. That was my father's cousin. He was a captain in the United States Marine Corps, and he was killed in action. So when I went back there, I made sure I found his name on there. So that is a pretty moving monument. I'm 65 years old. I was born in 1960, but I remember the war really well. How could you not? It was on the TV and the newspaper constantly, but I was glad to go. There's quite a few people there, as you guys probably already know, too. So that's the story on that.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And yeah, your reflection is clearly visible in the image. So, and it came over real well. N6YG.
Yeah, that's with one of those, like this was, like I said, about 20 years ago. It's one of those, like, little Canon, like 2.5 megapixel cameras, about the size of a deck of cards. So that one came out okay. So any other comments, questions, or other burning desires before I close it out and see if George has our farewell picture? All right, once again, I want to thank all who participated in tonight's SSTV Net. This was another good one. We hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. This is Bill, K6KRQ. The net is officially closed at 10:07 p.m. local time. This is Bill, K6KRQ, wishing all of you a good evening. 73. That one came through real good on Robot 36, too. You know what, George? I get, like, such a kick out of that. I don't know why, but I think it's like I just think it's a great way to end that net.
That's funny. Yeah, I like that fast mode. Oh, I gotta turn off the monitor again. There we go. No, now it's off. Yeah, I like the fast modes for stuff like this. It works real well. Carol shut down the YouTube stream, so I didn't get to see how she received it. But I would have been curious on how well that works with graphics like this.
Offhand, I'd say it works pretty well. Came across very nice.